I think he is absolutely true talent level, a first-line caliber player. I cannot be swayed on that. You have every right to disagree. That's just my point. But on the other side, the reason why I am still, despite thinking very high of Konecny, and despite viewing him as a first-line caliber player, the reason why I am skeptical about re-signing him is because of the age, the timeline, the risk involved with the fact that he plays the style he plays with a not that big body. I'm worried about how his body is going to age, given the way he plays the chippy style, the fact that he is tenacious and physical. I'm worried how that's going to age into his 30s. Those are my big concerns. So I'm less worried about Konecny, the player. I'm more worried about Konecny, the concept, as would I be willing, given where the Flyers are, the fact that they ain't that good right now, and they probably ain't going to be that good for at least another couple more years. Are the Flyers, like, I think Travis Konecny is deserving of an 8-year, $9 million a year contract, without a doubt. I am unconvinced the Flyers should be the team that gives it to him.
Yeah, I see him as a first-line caliber player. I just think you need two guys better than him on that first line.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there.
And at that point, I just don't know. Like, that's not the kind of guy I want to make a long-term commitment to.
Fair.
Like, I look at what this team has. Like, you have Tyson Forster, you have Owen Tippett, you have Matvei Michkov coming. Man, the dude who's going to be 32 plus for the majority of this contract, like, his decline is going to be the majority of this contract.
Yeah.
And maybe they have enough players that prop him up. But I just think there's a better allocation of resources than with Travis Konecny.
Well, the other part of this, too, and this is something that's important, is it's hard for me. And, like, as we both talked about at the beginning of the show, we both think they're going to re-sign Travis Konecny. Yeah. But in a world where they don't, this isn't a question of, like, re-sign Travis Konecny or let him leave for nothing. I don't think there's any universe where that happens. I think that if the Flyers were to determine that Travis Konecny is only going to take $10 million and that's just too rich for our blood, in that scenario, they trade him. And they would trade him for some type of future-centric assets. Now, whether that's draft picks, whether that's a player younger than Konecny who maybe fits the timeline better. So really, this isn't a question of Konecny versus nothing. This is Konecny versus what would you get back
potential
for Konecny in a trade, which is another reason why I'm more on the side of not bringing back Konecny, because signing a 28-year-old to an 8-year contract, given the way he plays, given the fact that the first 2-3 years of that deal, when you're theoretically getting the surplus value, I don't think the Flyers will be a cup contender. I just don't love it. I personally think the shrewder move would be to turn him into assets that might better fit the timeline. Now, obviously, I wouldn't want them to give him up for jack shit. I'd want them to get a good package back. But I think that that is more likely to fit the timeline. Now, there is a world, and this is why, like, I am not vehemently opposed. I'm like, oh my God, if they sign Travis Konecny, it's the dumbest thing in the world. There's a world where this works, where maybe Michkov gets here and the Flyers immediately are real good. And then it's like, well, shit, we fucking traded away Travis Konecny. We're going to need to go out and get another Travis Konecny because we got rid of our version of Travis Konecny. There's also a world where Konecny ages real well. I mean, Brad Marchand, that happened.
And
like,
he is
35 years old and still a clear-cut first-line player, and he maybe is the most obvious comparable to Travis Konecny.
He's been the direct comparison for as long as we've been doing this show, and Travis Konecny's been part of the organization. So it is possible.
Yeah, there's a world where it works out very well for the Flyers.
While I'm making the argument, like, I don't think Konecny in his current situation is worth the money, I'm not going to come here and be like, well, fire Briere. Like, I don't think it's the brightest thing. I don't think it's a great move, but I don't think it sinks them automatically. I think it, once again, like we talked about with Sean Couturier, like, it just might make the needle a little tougher to thread. Yeah. Like, it might narrow things a little here, but I don't think it automatically sinks them. But I want more optionality, like, than what giving another dude a long-term contract gives you.
It's fair. It's fair. And I think that is a completely reasonable like stance to hold. I don't, and I am of the opinion personally that I would trade Travis Konecny because to me, the risk is too high. The risk of re-signing him is too high. But I am not going to dismiss the fact that there is reward here in that Travis Konecny, he works here. He works well in Philly. He works well with his coaching staff. He works well in this city. And while aging curves are real, they are not a guarantee of future outcomes. Travis Konecny could age extremely well. In all honesty, if you just look at a pure aging curve, Travis Konecny should not have hit his prime at age 25, 26. He should have hit his prime at age 23, 24.
When he had his worst seasons.
Yeah, when he completely dipped. Yeah. Like he is not currently following the normal age, the typical aging curve. Maybe that will continue, and it's certainly possible. But you go back to, and this is what I'm talking about risk profile. I am on record as being in favor of the Sean Couturier extension when it happened. I thought that Couturier actually did give the Flyers a bit of a discount. And my thought process was, I thought Couturier was a good guy to take the risk on. And who was the guy that you heard all the time when anyone would make the point of, well, he might not age well? It was, well, look at Patrice Bergeron. Look how well he aged. What happened? Before the contract even kicked in, Sean Couturier had 2 back surgeries, or 1 back surgery, I guess, before the contract kicked in.
Very Ryan Howard-esque.
I'm not saying that's going to happen again with Konecny, but the fact of the matter is that guys that are in their late 20s and early 30s have a higher injury risk profile. They just do. And with Couturier, the argument was, well, he might be Bergeron. With Konecny, the argument is, well, he might be Marchand. Well, we saw what happened with Couturier. Maybe Bergeron and Marchand are just freaks of nature that should not be viewed as what everyone is going to invariably become.
Also, both those guys had cups at this age. I'm just saying. Wrong. Well, cup. Yeah, it was the same one.
We all silly like the mayor.